What has it been now? 4 years, 5 years, 30 years since the Dolphins beat Buffalo? All I want, man, all I want this weekend is for the Dolphins to beat the stinking Bills. Oh, it is. It is a Friday episode. Happy Friday of the Donno Drop here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. We are going to be talking with Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com in about 5 minutes. We're going to get you all the betting angles you need for the Miami Dolphins hosting the Buffalo Bills this weekend. Yeah, guys, I'm cautiously optimistic for this matchup. I am cautiously optimistic because, hey, I think the Miami Dolphins, we saw how explosive the offense was last week against Baltimore, how, it's like a cheat code. Having Tyreek Hill on one side, having Jaylen Waddle on the other side. If you try to take one of them out of the game, the other one's open and they're going to kill you. They both had damn near 200 receiving yards last week. They had 2 touchdowns apiece. And listen, folks, I know a lot of you don't want to hear this because, like Brooklyn Rob always says, I'm not allowed on the Tua bandwagon because I said too many not so nice things over about him for the last couple of years. But I'm coming around. I am coming around. That was obviously one of, arguably the best quarterbacking performance of all of week 2 in the NFL last week, the best quarterbacking performance of Tua Tagovailoa's career, the best we've seen in a long time in a Dolphins uniform, and then the possibility of sustaining that and feeding the beast, feeding these Miami Dolphins weapons, it gets me very excited. And so in this matchup with Buffalo, I understand, the Dolphins are not favored to beat the Bills this Sunday, probably still shouldn't be. Although you would think after having lost 7 straight against the Bills, because that's the situation the Dolphins are in. They've lost 7 straight against Buffalo. At some point, you're due. And for as good as the Bills are, right? I think the Bills are the best team in the National Football League this year. I really do. They're my pick to win the Super Bowl. I'm not reinventing the wheel when I say that because they're the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl. But even if Buffalo does go on to win the Super Bowl, they're not going to go undefeated. I really don't think they're going to go 20-0 this year. They're not going to go undefeated. Somebody's going to beat them this year. Why not us? If somebody's going to beat Buffalo this year, they may lose 2 or 3 games this year. Why not us? Why not the Dolphins? Why can't the team with Jaylen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and a really good Dolphins defense, although they gave up a lot of points last week, 38 points given up, but, actually 31 points given up because you can't count the kickoff return touchdown against the defense. A lot of points given up last week, but I still have faith in that defense, and they came alive when they needed to. They made the fourth quarter stops when they needed to make them, and I believe the Dolphins have a really good defense. If somebody's got to beat Buffalo this year, why not us? Why not the Miami Dolphins? And I'm looking at a Bills team where they might be without both of their top safeties this week. Micah Hyde is dealing with a neck injury. Both of them didn't practice this week. Jordan Poyer being the other one dealing with a foot injury. Starting cornerback Dane Jackson didn't practice late in the week as well with a neck injury. So, yeah, you're going to need all the safety help you can get anyway going up against playmakers like the ones the Dolphins have. And then if the Bills literally don't have safety help because their top guys are injured and maybe won't play this week, this is a huge, huge opportunity. Hello, Cap for Life. Welcome in. He says, forget the bandwagon. We rolling into the Rock with a tank, and they can't stop us. Let's go. And I know, for everyone out there who loves both the Canes and Dolphins, this is a busy weekend. The Miami Hurricanes have Middle Tennessee tomorrow at 3:30. Dolphins have the Bills 1 o'clock Sunday. Josh Allen, what can you say about the guy? He's an absolute stud. He's an absolute stud, can hurt you in so many ways. He's got the rocket launcher for an arm. Very, very athletic, very, very mobile. I think both teams are going to put up serious amounts of points in this game. Like, I think that this is going to be a pretty high scoring affair. What is the over under for this game? I know Lee Sterling's going to know. He's going to join us in a couple of minutes. Like, unless it's like a super high number, I've got to be leaning to the over in this game. Well, let's bring him on. Lee Sterling, who does an awesome job breaking it down, ParamountSports.com. Lee, I am so unprepared for this conversation because I don't even have the over-under in front of me for Dolphins-Bills, because I got to be thinking with Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle and the Bills having a banged-up secondary, and the Bills, of course, can score points all day long with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and company. What kind of a number are we looking at for the over-under?
53.5.
Ooh, that's not as high as I thought it would. What do you think about that one?
Possible rain. So I would not bet this game until usually can tell with the forecast about 8, 9 in the morning. I've seen some times where they've got like 50, 60% chance of rain and nothing. Then I've seen some 20 and 30% chance and absolute downpour. So if there's a rainstorm, I mean, the total could fall to 51, 51 and a half if it rains for a half or more. If it's clean, I don't see how this game stays under.
Now, if it does rain, that obviously could affect the passing game. Although, even on a wet field, Tyreek and Waddle are still really fast, but it would affect Tua's ability to throw the football. Would you have faith in the Dolphins' running game, Lee? Because that's something that's been a little bit missing so far. That, the offensive line has done a lot better in pass protection, but we haven't really seen the running game come alive. Can they do that if it's wet and soggy?
I think the Dolphins are actually in a better spot if it rains. I mean, Buffalo's not known for having a running team.
Right.
Now, obviously, Josh Allen can run. I mean, we all know that. But I think that it would curtail their offense actually even more than Miami's. So Miami's more of a short passing game, and they've taken advantage of, I think, a Baltimore secondary. Those cornerbacks and safeties for Baltimore look like they were stuck in quicksand. I mean, I think even with your weight loss, look quicker than they were. So
no, especially with the weight loss. I got a lot faster.
Yeah, that's true. You could start. Yeah.
Lee Sterling is with us. ParamountSports.com is his website. I know it's been a super busy football season already. So, you mentioned, and that's a really good shout, because oftentimes dummies like me don't think about the weather 2 days in advance. Like, I'll wake up Sunday morning and like, hey, I see some clouds out there. I should have thought about that on Friday before I locked in my number. So if I'm looking at, the Bills, who have obviously, for my money, they're the best team in the NFL. Right. They've beaten the Dolphins 7 straight times, Lee. They're 5.5-point favorites in this game. What do you like in the game itself with the spread?
So if the weather is good, I think Miami's at a disadvantage, because I think the biggest surprise for Buffalo, we all know what Josh Allen's all about. We know his receivers, even his tight end. It's their front seven. They have elevated themselves, stopping the run and also rushing the passer. I think they're top 3, top 4 in the league right now in that department. And if Miami goes up top, they do have some injuries at the cornerback position, but I think they have the best tandem at safety, and Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. So they're pretty good at not allowing big plays. And
do we know if they're going to be back? Because I saw they didn't practice yesterday. Yeah. Well, what are we thinking?
I think they're going to play. They're going to play. So that's the problem. Also, the injury reports. I mean, we see sometimes now questionable guys don't play. They used to have the doubtful a lot more, and you could figure it out, or at least have a better clue. But these teams are hiding it a lot more. They just, it's not good for the better. So got to kind of read into certain teams the way they say and do things. That's why, as a gambler, you can wait 5 minutes before the game starts to wager. And a lot of times, Alex, there's some games that I want a certain line and it doesn't appear. And then all of a sudden you get like an underdog. All week it's 3. And then all of a sudden, 5 minutes before the game time, you get 3.5. So really follow the lines. The last 15, 20 minutes, there's some bargains out there. And the key is, if you don't like the line, stay off the game. Right. You don't have to bet every single game. But I think Josh Allen is just too tough to stop here. The weather's good. I think Buffalo is probably the right side. They win and cover something like 34-24.
So, I got to ask you because I've been I'm trying to enjoy my team being 2-0, but I'm
Yeah.
taking a lot of grief out there from the Tua fans because I haven't had enough faith in our quarterback and our
Right.
starting quarterback. So, Lee, do I need to start sending out apology letters because he looked fantastic this week, or should maybe I
Yeah.
wait a little bit longer to see how he sustains it before I write the handwritten apologies?
Wait one more game. They win
Okay.
this game, or he throws for 350 or 400, and less than one or less interceptions. Then you can send out the apology cards. But even Mike White for the Jets last year had a career game. So Jacoby Brissett looked good last night. I
He
mean,
did.
last year he couldn't. He couldn't. I mean, he was terrible. I
Yep.
mean, so they just didn't put any pressure on him last night. That's what happens when you don't have, you're missing your best pass rusher and Watt.
Really good stuff. Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com is with us. Any thought on Miami Hurricanes hosting Middle Tennessee? They're Miami, last I checked, it may have moved today because I checked early this morning, 25-point or 25.5-point favorites, something like that. The Hurricanes. Well, what are you thinking? Can they bounce back from, a very tough offensive performance? Because the defense was great, but a tough offensive performance against Texas A&M.
A very light lean. I would say that Middle Tennessee is probably the right side. Middle Tennessee had a horrible first game, terrible.
Yeah.
They were atrocious, throwing interception after interception. Or 3 and outs. They couldn't even do anything for 3 quarters.
Right.
But last 2 games they've looked better. They had a new offensive coordinator from Samford. They brought in their head coach is Rick Studstill. Used to play at Florida State.
I remember him
back in I think the late 70s, early 80s. But Miami's not a big play offense. I mean, look at the plays where they had success. A lot of crossing routes to tight ends or receivers crossing the field because the receivers aren't getting separation. Everyone talks about not catching the ball. Okay, they were terrible. I mean, it was awful. 6, 7, 8 drops. But if you're not getting separation, it's going to be tough to make big plays here. Middle Tennessee's nothing. But I think Miami wins something like 42-20. If I had to, I'd take Middle Tennessee in the points.
Yeah, so maybe I was a little bit overreacting to the James Madison game because I was like looking at Middle Tennessee, and not only did they have the problems on offense, but they couldn't stop the run either. It was like 261 rushing yards they gave up. So when I saw that, I'm like, well, if they gave up 261 to James Madison, Miami should be able to do something similar with how well their offensive line and the running backs have played so far. But you usually my rule of thumb is when I see a number that big, I'm definitely not going to play the favorite. And also, as everyone in this chat knows, I am a mush. So if I were to play Miami minus 25, it guaranteed it would be a close game. So I'm probably gonna sit that one out. But is there anything you may like there, like prop wise, or the over under? I think was around 55 or so for that one.
Not really. I like the other 2 games involving Florida teams. I like Florida a lot. Hint, hint, it'll probably be a release for my clients. So check this out. Hendon Hooker, no interceptions the first 3 games, but look who they played. Ball State, Akron, and Pitt, whose defense is nothing special. If you were to play Tennessee, it's like playing crypto. It's just not sustainable if you're buying crypto at the height.
Thanks for rubbing it in, Lee.
Sorry. Well, got to be honest. My kids bought crypto. My kids did, and they asked me why I didn't buy.
So the stock market's not doing any better right now. I think any investment period is not looking good right now.
No, we're only down in my portfolio 20% to be exact. So, but not down as much as crypto. Now, Tennessee's favored by 10.5, 11 points in this game. Last year, Florida was favored by 17.5. So you're telling me the difference in 1 year is almost 30 points?
Whoa!
I think it's an overreaction. Florida's won 16 of the last 17 games here. Because they lost to Kentucky at home and they should have lost to South Florida. That's why the line is where it is. There's not that much difference in talent between these 2 teams here. I think Tennessee might win something like 34-28, but I'd take the points there.
Good. I need Florida fans to stay miserable. I don't care if they lose by a point or by 30 points. I just all that misery after that USF escape act from last week. I need that to continue. And this, listen, I got to call you out a little bit, Lee, because a few weeks ago you were telling me how good this Anthony Richardson is. I don't think he's thrown a forward pass since the first game. What happened there?
I don't know. Maybe he's hurt. I don't know. He's been horrible. I don't think I've ever been more wrong on someone, but I think he'll probably come back to the mean. He'll probably be somewhere in between. He couldn't do anything wrong the first week, and the last 2 weeks he's been atrocious. But here's another game, overreaction. So Florida State's playing Boston College. Line 17.5. The look-ahead line before the season was Florida State -6. So the lines moved 11.5 points. I think Florida State's coached better than I thought they would be.
Yeah, me too.
They looked better. Boston College, they lost their only returning starting line. Their offensive line's been atrocious, giving up 12 sacks. But the last 3 games have been decided by 7 points. And I think Boston College is going to come to play. Their quarterback, Phil Jurkovec, they were talking about him as a first-rounder for the season. He's been getting walloped. But I think they're going to come to play here. And Florida State, still 2-5 against the spread as a home favorite under Norville. I think Florida State wins 30-23. I'm taking the 17.5 here.
Real quick, before you get to any other games you might have, since we're talking quarterbacks, and you mentioned something about Miami's receivers not getting separation. So how much of the struggles do you put on Tyler Van Dyke? Because some people are trying to bench this guy.
I think they should play, the backup some. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be, a next level guy also. Just wasn't his night, Yeah. Part of it was the receivers. They were running crossing routes between 20s. They couldn't do anything else. Now, Josh Gaddis, when they got inside the 20, his play calling wasn't good. I don't know if you realize this. Texas A&M was playing 2 third-string cornerbacks.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
And why not run a play that they haven't seen before? Run quads. Run 4 receivers to one side. 3 tight ends and a wide receiver. Show some looks they hadn't seen before. Nothing. It was like we were playing Southern Miss or Middle Tennessee. They didn't show anything the first 2 weeks. Last week's game was a game that they needed. They needed that. Look at, as we're talking, a Florida State wide receiver just got a 5-star commitment from a guy that had Miami in his final 5. Yeah. So, Miami wins that game. They probably get 2-3 commitments this week. So I thought that I love Mario's recruiting as a game day coach. He is not a good game day coach. Too conservative.
He reminds me a lot of Butch Davis, where he can do everything at a really high level when it comes to building a program, and then you've just got to hope they get such good players in that it won't even matter if he burns his timeouts too quickly. I think that's what they're trying to build. That it won't even he can use all of his timeouts in the first drive of the third quarter if he wants to.
Why didn't they go tempo, Alex? Why not tempo?
Yeah.
Sometime
I was annoyed by that.
For sure. Once you fell behind by 2 touchdowns. So, every single play went down to the final 10 seconds. Most times, final 2 or 3 seconds, they were, doing the call back to the sidelines to make sure the play was on or change it.
Yeah. Any other games you like this weekend?
Yeah, I actually like Kansas against Duke. So, I think Kansas laying 7. I think this kid, Riley Leonard, is good for Duke quarterback, but the rest of his supporting cast, not so much. Kansas whipped, now we find out, a pretty good West Virginia team and a Houston team. They were down 2 touchdowns to start that game against Houston. They didn't bat an eye. They ended up winning the game by almost 3 touchdowns. And here's a barometer. You can tell if a team's pretty good. Their yards per play. The last couple years, nothing. But now, they're putting up almost 10 yards per play last couple games here. I like Kansas. I think they win by double digits over Duke.
I like that. Anything in the NFL?
Yeah, I like Green Bay. People base a lot of their decisions on who they pick, based on the first week. You watch that first game, and Minnesota did a great job. They showed nothing in the preseason. But if you listen to the Green Bay defense after the game, they were like, we didn't see that formation, didn't see that play over and over. So if you watch the second game, Green Bay's defense, I think they're really good at all 3 levels. So now they got their line. They got one offensive lineman hurt coming back last week, another coming back this week, it looks like. They have maybe the best 1-2 running back tandem. Tampa Bay just has faced some quarterbacks that just did not do a good job here. I think Green Bay's receivers are coming around here. I think they're going to run some on Tampa Bay. And even if it's tight for a while, Aaron Rodgers, he's not going to fold. He's not going to fold like Jameis. When you put out crab legs, in the seafood department. I mean, after 3 quarters, it was like he all of a sudden lost his mind. He was calm and composed, and then they put those seafood those crab legs out, and he went for him. 3 interceptions, ball game over.
I love it. Hey, what can people find?
I had to take a shot.
Of course. I do. I can't talk about Jameis without making a crab legs joke either. I'm right there with you. What can people find at your website this week, ParamountSports.com?
So we had an 8-3 record last week, 6-3 the week before, and they want to hop on board. They can normally for a month it's $397. I'm not in a good mood where I usually add an extra week. I'm in a great mood. I'm going to add 2 weeks, 6 weeks, $397. Wow. This is my executive phone service where we rate the games from 10 to 50 units. You might have a big 40 to 50 unit going up on Saturday. So you want to get involved? Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
I love it. Lee Sterling, have an awesome weekend coming up, my friend. Great stuff as always.
Okay. Thanks, Alex.
How about that? Always taking the crab legs digs. That's one thing that'll never get old for me. Like it could be 20 years from now. I'll be making Jameis Winston crab leg jokes to my son, and he'll be like, who is that? And what are you talking about? By the way, I came to realize after we started how dumb it was for me to wear a partially green shirt in front of a green screen. Look, I'm translucent. We're transparent. Or does that mean the same thing? You could see the field. I am one with the field at Hard Rock Stadium. This is how big of a Hurricanes fan and Dolphins fan I am. I am literally one with the field. Look at that. You see right through me. Fantastic. Really bad wardrobe choice by me. I got to stop buying green clothing. It just can't be part of my routine anymore. I should nickname Luca Crab Legs. I feel like I have to make sure he actually likes crab legs first. He's never tried crab legs. If he gets into them, like I love crab legs. My wife loves crab legs. So if it's like a hereditary thing, he's going to love crab legs too, I hope. But, I feel like you can't name him or nickname him crab legs unless he's really into it. So, we'll see how that goes with him. Yeah, I've got the Harry Potter invisible cloak on. Look at this. I could run, like, how when people rush the field, they get tackled by security and then arrested? I could rush the field and they wouldn't even see me because I am one with the field. Like, all I have to do, I have to wear my green shirt. I'll get one that's all green that doesn't have the orange stripes on it. I'll just wear an all green shirt and I will rush on the field. And it's like, you can't see me. John Cena, can't see me. Donno camo. There it is. I am camoed with the field. Oh, man. Yeah, this Sunday is for the division. Winner will win the division. Let it be the Dolphins. Well, I mean, they do still play each other again, and they got to go. I think it's in December that the Dolphins have to go to Buffalo. So I'm not going to go as far as saying that this week decides the division, but this week will decide if the Dolphins are in it to win the division. Are they in it to win it? Because, if it's same old, from the last 4 years where Buffalo just comes in here and like beats us up, then you're like, yep, they're still our daddies. They are still the class of the AFC East. But if the Dolphins can get it done, it's a race. Like it is a legit 2-team race because I don't believe the Patriots are as good as we saw week 1 or as good as the Dolphins or nearly as good as the Bills. The Jets are stinky. So yeah, this is going to decide if the Dolphins are contenders. I need you as the 12th man on the field on game day for the Canes and Finns. Honestly, I'm very slow. I don't know if I help either team, but you know what? I guess the only thing I could do is, as long as I'm camo to the field, I could like commit some like really dirty like pass interference plays and they won't see me. So like, man, you got Middle Tennessee receivers and then like Stephon Diggs on Sunday, they're just tripping over nothing. Like, why are they? It's going to be me like laying behind these guys and tripping them when they're running routes. I'm going to have to do something like that, man. 6-man, 12th man, whatever it is. And folks, I want to make sure you guys are supporting the awesome sponsor of the Donno Drop. You see that below me there on the scroll? Oh, now my hat is camo too. This is like a very dark shade of green, so the hat doesn't fade as much because it's like super dark green. It's like winter green, I think. But the shirt kind of blends in with the look, hold on. You can't see me at all now, right? Now I'm completely, except for my really, really pale arms. You can't see me at all. No, I want to remind you guys to please support the awesome sports betting partner of the Donno Drop and the 5 Reasons Sports Network, betteredge.com. This is where you guys want to get your action going this weekend. First of all, Better Edge is fully legal. Hallelujah. In the state of Florida. Fully legal in 45 out of 50 states in this great country of ours. I don't know why the other 5 are slacking, but Florida is one of the 45 states where Better Edge is fully legal. Guys, Better Edge is not run by a sports book or by a casino, so they don't have hidden fees. They're not taking juice. At betteredge.com, they make their money through advertisements on the website. So the reason they're able to make this work to give you your action and keep it completely legal in this great state of ours is it's a social platform where you're betting with another person. You pick the number, the spread, the prop you want. Somebody else is on the other side of that, and you're taking their money. How about that? They're going to try to take yours, but you are taking theirs, which is pure magic, guys. You can find the numbers you want at betteredge.com, and I'm telling you guys, you need to try this out. No juice, no hidden fees. You don't have to bet like minus 120 just to get, $100 back on a $120 bet or something like that. There are no fees, no juice. There's not a sports book taking that from you. Fully legal, so it's very easy to deposit, very easy to withdraw. This is not an offshore. There's none of that red tape that you would come up with in some of the offshore books. So try it out, betteredge.com. And if you sign up, you see our referral link down there. Make sure you sign up with the referral link, betteredge.com/5 reasons, because they're going to give you a $20 deposit bonus just for signing up with our referral link. $20 free in your account on top of whatever you deposit at betteredge.com/5 reasons. I'm telling you guys, the Dolphins are 5.5-point underdogs this week. If you want to play it on the safe side, and instead of Dolphins plus 5.5, you want Dolphins plus 8 or plus 7, you can bet that. You can pick your own number at betteredge.com/5 reasons. All right, let me throw a few shout outs, so we got to get out of here. I got to get out of here a little bit early because I'm at my mom's house. My kid is hanging out here. He is misbehaving so badly. He had a half day at school today, full of energy. I think he's driving grandma crazy. So I got to wrap it up in a few minutes, take my kid home, and give my mom, a little bit of a break, because it's like my kid is like a wind-up toy, right? He needed a couple of extra hours at school today. They released him. I don't know what, it's like a half teacher work day or something. So 11:45 checkout time today at school, and he's been driving crazy ever since. Thank you so much, Adrian. Make sure to hit the like button. She knew what she was getting into. I sure didn't. I mean, I love my kid to death, but he doesn't like. I hope he ends up being a professional athlete at something. Unfortunately, he's got my athletic genes, so there's going to be some challenges. But I hope my kid ends up being a pro athlete, even if it's like cornhole or something. Be a pro athlete at something, because he's got nonstop energy, and he needs to harness that energy on a field or a court somewhere in an octagon. Although I don't really want him doing that for a living. I'd probably prefer a little bit less concussion risks, but it is what it is. Thank you guys for the injury scoops, by the way. Poyer questionable. Yeah, so Buffalo's secondary is going to be super, super banged up this coming week, and that's why I think the Dolphins have a chance. I really do. So thank you so much to you. Thank you to Tommy Italian. I love that name. Hey, Tommy, paisano. What about you, Tommy Italian? Yeah, super, super banged up, the Bills secondary. Tyreek and Waddle are just going to be running wild. Like, who do you cover? Like, who do you especially if your secondary is banged up? Like, I don't know. Maybe the Bills should just forfeit. Like, don't even bother coming down here. Like, you know what? Just we'll take a loss. We'll rest up for week 4. Don't even worry about it. Miss Finns, thank you so much for tuning in. My guy Joseph, thank you so much for finding us and tuning in. Brooklyn Rob was saying, keep Tua's name out of your mouth, Mush. He missed the first 5 or 10 minutes of the show where I talk all about how great Tua is. So if the mush is a real thing, we might be in some trouble this week. Richard, thank you so much. So he says Micah Hyde is out. Some people say Micah Hyde is questionable. I was under the understanding that there still is a chance he could play this week. I hope he doesn't. We shall find out. And Cap for Life, thank you so much. All right, guys, make sure you support betteredge.com. Try it out. I guarantee you'll have fun. betteredge.com/5reasons for our referral link. And remember, we talk to you every Monday, me and Troy Stradford on the Extra Yard, 3 p.m. We're going to break down a huge Dolphins win over Buffalo, 3 p.m. on Monday right here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. See ya.